everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome to my kitchen. I couldn't be bothered to go upstairs where I normally film. We're back in international break because the Championship never gives us more than about 10 minutes without a story. And today's story is that Sheffield Wednesday are in trouble and have indeed been charged for a breach of the EFL's financial rules. The EFL have put a statement out today. I have it in front of me. We'll take a look in a minute. But the wording is that they have been charged. Sheffield Wednesday have come back, and words to the effect of they will aggressively defend the charges against them. So this one will run and run. Remember last year, the precedent set by the Birmingham City FFP points deduction was that we knew there was trouble afoot in August, and no sanction was actually given until, God, it was the last international break, sort of March time. So these things have a habit of taking their sweet time. And remember, in that instance as well, Birmingham were compliant. They did not fight this. They gave up evidence, and they were actually, I think they were praised for their compliance in the investigations as well. So look, this is all to do with Sheffield Wednesday. What's the word? Circumventing. There's nothing in the rules against this in principle. So they sold their stadium back to themselves or a company in their different name, and then put that profit through in their last year's profits. The stadium was sold for £60 million, and the profit then showed in the accounts was 2.5 million. So if you take that 60 million out, you have the mother of all FFP losses. In fact, that would be a very big, I don't know the exact points deduction that would be way bigger than Birmingham's, because that would be obviously 57.5 million pound loss. The rules say you're allowed a 39 million rolling loss over a 3-year period. So basically, as long as the 3 years don't tot up over the 39 million, then you are okay. So we've seen a few clubs take this particular route. Derby have done it. I think theirs was sold for 80 million. Villa and Reading, the BBC say, are also being, quote, scrutinised for similar transactions. So this statement is fairly down the line, following a formal investigation, profitability and sustainability submission. EFL has issued a number of charges related to alleged breaches of EFL rules. It talks about the club's financial submission for the period ending July 18. So we're talking the 17-18 season. And those accounts, if I remember, were very late going in. Remember, everything's kind of done a year back in finance. Well, the EFL has reviewed a large number of documents, and then it says, I flagged this bit, the charges are in respect of a number of allegations regarding the process of how and when the stadium was sold and the inclusion of the profits in the 2017 accounts. God knows what that means. I'm sure we'll find out in due course, but that does definitely cover a multitude of sins. And this is all about the stadium repositioning, moving assets you've already got to kind of show a profit. All charges will be considered by an independent disciplinary commission. The commission can impose any sanction set out in the EFL regulation 92.2. You can read that on the EFL website if you can be bothered. So yeah, that's about the size of it. All about the ground. If found guilty, can face any sanction, which could be a reprimand, a points deduction, a financial penalty, or possible expulsion from the league. So this is a nightmare to get your head around. So the example we have is Birmingham. Now, Birmingham broke FFP, i.e. they spent more than their allotted 39 million across a 3-year period. And they were then even punished for a flagrant breach, as in they went over it and they just went way over it and signed too many players. Now, they were docked 9 points. So that's fairly cut and dried, and it then kind of gives yourself, oh, if you lose this much, if it's a flagrant breach, you're going to get 9 points, etc., etc. With this one, this is very, very difficult to figure out, because the books have gone through and the books say a 2.5 million profit. So there's no FFP breach. The wording, again, I'll read, charges from respect to other allegations regarding the process of how and when the stadium was sold. How and when. So this isn't really that comparable with the Birmingham one, because it seems to be a how and when rather than a clear number. I guess they're alleging that Sheffield Wednesday have done this in, how can I say this without libeling anyone, a way that does not comply with their regulations. So I don't really buy the argument, oh, Birmingham got this many points, Sheffield Wednesday should get this many points. It's a whole new situation. And with the Birmingham thing, a lot of comments I got back, which I kind of agree with, because it was the first of a kind, were, oh, well, the EFL just pulled the sanction out of their air. So I don't know how serious a how and when a stadium is sold compares with running your club in a unsustainable way. If there's any financial experts or lawyers watching, maybe they can tell me, is that worth more points or less points? I don't know. This is, I'm just a football fan. I like to watch people kick the ball into the goal, basically, and try to follow this. But it seems to be that this is just the big iceberg in the Championship, isn't it? The financial thing. And we've had another story this week at Macclesfield. We've had the Bury issue. Bury are just one league removed in League One. Bury not playing this season at all, and they'll have to make a readmission to come in further down the pyramid. So very, very close to the Championship. This is all coming to a head, and it is the ship going towards the iceberg, and the EFL are often accused of not really doing enough to stop this. They're accused of a lot of things, the EFL. So we're going to see more and more of this. I also don't know what the effect of Sheffield Wednesday fighting this is going to be. Certainly lawyers and people of that nature are going to make lots of money out of it. And it's going to be very complicated, as I say, because there is no precedent for it. What will also be very interesting is, although it's not numbers, it's how and when. So I don't know if Derby, Aston Villa and Reading have satisfied the EFL with their how and when their stadium was sold. But if Sheffield Wednesday are given a sanction, then surely they're going to cry foul and accuse Derby and Aston Villa and Reading of the same thing. Steve Gibson, the Middlesbrough chairman, has been very outspoken about this and has threatened to go legal on, I think he is going to, on the EFL about these stadium sales. He argues that Derby's ability to get into the playoffs last year was predicated on a stadium sale and not having a points deduction for missing the FFP. If they got the points deduction, Middlesbrough get in the playoffs. Dirty. You see where he's going with this, the butterfly effect type thing. So look, this is all very, very complicated. At the moment, it's just a charge. It's going to be fought. There's no sanction, but you would think it's going to be a points deduction, because if they give a reprimand, they're going to say it's too soft. Let's watch with interest this. Be very, very interested in people's opinions in the comments. Whether you think I'm right that it's a different type of infraction to the Birmingham City one, or whether they can draw a comparison. And also, what about the comparisons to Derby and Villa and Reading. And also, if the EFL admit this is an infraction for Sheffield Wednesday, aren't they basically saying to Steve Gibson, well, you're going to win your legal case then, because this was not done in an above board way, and Middlesbrough's league position last season is falsified by Derby. If then Sheffield Wednesday goes boom, boom, boom. This is all pie in the sky thinking. Let me know what you think in the comments. I've tried to keep on top of it. I'm not a financial expert. We've had on the channel a few times, a friend of mine, Kieran Maguire. If you want a more read but more technical opinion that's maybe a little bit harder to keep up with than a layman's like mine, then check out Kieran at Price of Football on Twitter and priceoffootball.com, and I'm sure he'll be on every radio station in England talking about this. But please get your opinion in, just as a fan, on the general state of Championship finances, and do you have the same worry as I do that this proximity to the Premier League, where there's £1 billion TV deals, and the proximity to League One, where there's Bury going nearly under and having to come back next year 8 tiers down or something, really does make the Championship right on a knife edge. They're the ones that do well get the prizes, they gamble. The ones that fail, it's possible oblivion for some of those. Suppose we should say as well with Mr. Chansiri that he seems to have gambled on Carlos Carvajal, lost in the playoff final, and he's been chasing his tail ever since. And well, we'll see what the EFL come up with in terms of a sanction, and then the obvious legal battle that there's going to be after that. It does, however, stop what people have considered, although not against the rules, a slightly financial sleight of hand with the stadium sales. So really interested in people's opinions. As I say, hopefully I've been vaguely coherent over this past 12 minutes. Get your comments in, smarten me up if you know more than me, if you're a Wednesday fan. Derby, Villa, Reading, what you expect to happen next, and how the hell is this going to play out. Thank you for watching. Follow me on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom. Again, another plug for Kieran if you want a more, financially read opinion than mine. Hit subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and see you very soon when the football's back after the international break. Phew, did I manage to blag my way through that? Over and out.